afternoon. This video is going to be about New York Proposal 1. This is going to be one of the proposals that's going to be showing up on the November 2021 election ballot in New York State. There are 4 other ballot measures that's going to be showing up on the November ballot, but this one seems to be the most dense one, so I'm going to be unpacking it in this video. In the next video that I release, I'm going to be discussing or talking about Proposal 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you want to get more information on these ballots, you can go to Ballotpedia, the New York State website, and there's a couple of news articles that I'm going to be linking in regards to these proposals that should be able to help you to get a general idea on seeing what these ballots are about, who's in favor of the ballots, who's against them, some of their arguments, etc. The IRC is a 10-member commission that's in charge of doing the redistricting for the state of New York. 8 of the members are chosen by the 4 legislative leaders of the state legislature. So that is the Speaker of the Assembly, the Minority Leader of the Assembly, the Temporary President of the Senate, and the Minority Leader of the Senate. Each of these leaders appoint 2 members to the commission. The 2 remaining positions are the co-executive directors. The way these co-executive directors are appointed depends on the composition of the state legislature. Currently, if one party controls both chambers, the co-directors should be approved by a majority of the commission, and that majority needs to include at least 1 member appointed by each of the legislative leaders. And if different parties control each chamber, a majority of the commission needs to approve the appointment, and that majority needs to include at least 1 appointee by the Speaker of the Assembly and at least 1 appointee by the temporary President of the Senate. The change that they want to make here is that when appointing co-executive directors, a majority of the commission needs to approve regardless of the party control of the chambers. So that's the first part. The second part is when the commission is approving a redistricting plan. Now, just like the last time, there's 2 different procedures that are used depending on the party control. So, if one party controls both chambers, the plan must be approved by at least 7 members, including at least 1 member appointed by each of the legislative leaders. If different parties control each chamber, it still needs to be approved by 7 members, but this time it needs to include at least 1 member appointed by the Speaker of the Assembly and 1 member appointed by the temporary President of the Senate. The proposed change here is that the redistricting plans be approved by at least 7 members, regardless of the party control of the chambers. Now, once that redistricting plan is approved, it needs to go to the state legislature in order for the legislature to approve it. And again, there are 2 different procedures. When one party controls both chambers, the redistricting plan needs to be approved by a 2/3 majority of each chamber. If different parties control each chamber, the redistricting plan needs to be approved by a simple majority of each chamber. The proposed change is that a simple majority be required to approve the redistricting plan regardless of the party control of the chambers. Now, the 4th part here is that if the commission plans are rejected twice by the legislature, if one party controls both chambers, a 2/3 majority of each chamber is required to approve any other redistricting plans. And if different parties control each chamber, a 60% majority of each chamber is required in order to approve the subsequent commission plans. The proposed change is that a 60% vote be required regardless of party control of the chambers after 2 commission plans have been rejected. Now, the other changes they want to make is to the timeline. So, currently, the commission must submit a plan to the legislature by the 15th of the year ending in 2, as in January 15th of 2020. The changes that they want to make is that the commission must submit a plan by the 1st of January of 2022, and then for the future cycles, they want to require the commission to submit a plan to the legislature by November 15th of the year ending in 1. So for 2030, that would be 2031, November 15th. So yeah, November 15th, 2031. Then the commission must submit a second plan if the legislature rejects the first one. Currently, the commission would be required to submit it by February 28th of the year ending in 2, as in 2022, February 28th of 2022. Now, what they want to change it to is to January 15th of 2022 for this cycle, and for future cycles, they want to change it to January 1st of the year ending in 2. So January 1st of 2032. And then the date at which the legislature can vote on amended plans currently is when the legislature rejects both of the proposals of the commission. What they want to change it to is when the legislature rejects both proposals, or should the commission fail to adopt the plan on January 1st, 2022. For this cycle, and for future cycles, it would be when the legislature rejects both of the commission's proposals, or should the commission fail to adopt the plan on November 1st of the year ending in 1. So that would be November 1st of 2031 for the 2030 cycle. So the rest of the proposal is way less complex. Okay, so in the rest of the proposal, they say they want to cap the amount of New York State senators at 63. They want to change how the state counts prisoners. Okay. So currently, it seems like the state counts prisoners' residence as the prison that they're currently in. This would be changing it for at least redistricting purposes as the last place of residence instead of the prison itself. Another part would be removing the block on border requirement that they currently have. So the border on block policy is essentially a requirement that forces certain blocks to be on the border of some of these districts that are drawn up. And the last point seems to be requiring the state to count non-citizens as residents for redistricting purposes if the census chooses to exclude them from that data. So in this case, it would just be counting non-citizens as residents if in the census the amount of non-citizens isn't included as residents. So that's it for New York Proposal 1. It will be on ballots in New York State on Election Day. So that's November 2nd, 2021. If you're not registered to vote, register and vote. If you don't remember whether you're registered to vote or not, I'll put a link in the description so that you can find out whether you're registered to vote. I'm pretty sure that in New York, you have to register to vote 10 days before the election. So I think you should stop watching the video now and go check to see if you're registered or not. And if you haven't been registered, go register. In fact, there are another 4 proposals that I'm going to be going over in another video. One of those proposals is in regards to voter registration. So I'll put that together and try to publish it next week. If you like the video, give it a like. If you dislike the video, give it a dislike. If you have any comments, put it in the comment section, or you can also @ me on Twitter and Instagram. So that's @XterraMage. Go out there and vote.